Welcome to Tavern Talk. We are a full spoiler live talk show based on the epic fantasy series The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan, and joining me as always is my brother Dan. Hi. And Jansen the Gleeman, 3/5 of the Tavern Talk crew. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, humans on all the spectrums. All are welcome. This is a discussion on the Sharan, what I call the late book divas, shaved teeth and all. How's everyone doing, guys?
Doing good. Been long days, but lots of work.
Oh, that's good. I just got back from an academic convention.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun. Everyone was hooking up with each other. It was amazing.
Oh, why wouldn't they? The Thomas Dolby song, "She Blinded Me with Science," is about hooking up at a nerd convention.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. This is our Sunday ritual. We come together, we talk about the books, and this is, again, a full spoiler show. So if you've not read the entire series, please be warned, especially this show, because we are talking a lot of late book activities. And speaking of which, I would like to just kind of start this conversation off with, almost everything we know about the Sharan came from Brandon Sanderson, correct?
No, not everything.
I said almost, but
not everything.
Okay. Well,
we started learning about them in The Shadow Rising.
Okay. Shadow Rising.
Yeah.
That we meant. We know that Jane Farstrider went to him. The Sharans were an anomaly, and they still are. They're enigmatic. They're way over on the east side, way past the waste, way past where the blight is, way past kind of anything. There is an ocean over there, but I guess that's kind of the only way to get to Shara is via the ocean because of the difficult terrain. That there's rainforest, and there's also like these hills that are, or mountains that are way steeper than the mountains of Mist or the mountains of Doom. They said it was way bigger than like Kinslayer's dagger even.
Yeah.
So the only way to get to it. Go ahead.
There's something called the Great Rift, which is an after effect of the Age of Legends and the world tearing itself apart. So that is a huge gap in one of the other. It's the Great Rift. There's also some kind of bog down there as well.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to get to. You pretty much only can get there by boat, and the sea folk are probably the ones that were most familiar with the Sharans, just based on their trade. And in fact, the God damn it! Hold on, my stuff is messed up.
Also, remember, up until about 500 years ago, the Carrianan also had a relationship along the Silk Path, because of the pledge that the Aiel gave them, along with Evander Aldera.
Explain that more. Yeah. Tell me more.
So when obviously, I've always said this, my favorite chapters in the books are the Road to the Spear, which are in the Shadow Rising, and in the Shadow Rising they talk about the giving of free water. That during the Age of Legends, the Aiel, they went through hundreds, if not thousands, of trials and tribulations, and people that just were violent to them and not good to them. And the only people that ever gave them water freely were the Carrianan. And they found that out. And when they found that out, they felt that they had Toe, which is their version of a part of their honor system, which means that they were indebted to someone. They felt that they had toe to the Carrion. So they gave them a gift of a sapling of the Tree of Life, which they named Avendor Aldera after Avendor de Sora, which was the sapling they got it from. And once they did that, they also let the Carrion, the only group of people they let go through the Aiel Waste, which they called the Silk Path, to the Sharans, which they got to trade for silk. And it made Carrion extremely, extremely, extremely wealthy over those years. And a lot of different things ended up happening because of that, obviously. With the cutting of the tree and the Aiel War and Layman's Sin and all those things. But because of the Silk Path, the Carrion 500 years ago also knew about the Sharans. And they also knew what we also knew from work that they called it Kingali and a few other names instead of Shah.
Fascinating. So it was the.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's good. So it was the Aiel War and the cutting of the tree that stopped the Silk Road from being accessible. Then.
Well, yeah, because and I'm going to quickly say something. I said that the only people that they let into the waste were the Carrion, and obviously we know that's not true because Gleeman and also the Tinkers, the Tuathalan were also allowed in. So yeah, but after the cutting of the tree, Carrion were no longer allowed, and they were dubbed tree killers and oath breakers, and they were despised by the Aiel at that point, and they were sold as animals to Sharans if they came into the waste, if they weren't killed or ran off naked to the dragon wall with a bottle of water that wouldn't have lasted them even the day.
Wait, they were sold?
Go ahead.
Gee, I'm sorry. Yeah, they were sold?
Yes.
So the Aiel were just selling Carrianans?
Yes, they were. In fact,
crazy.
We heard Rorark talk about that at least 3 different separate times when he said that they were no good other than to be sold as animals to the Sharans.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I always this is something I don't think I've ever said, but this keeps coming back to me now. We see how Robert Jordan uses like words and names and how they match and how they are used in the future of some of his writings. And I keep thinking Sharans, and I keep thinking how dark complected a lot of them were. And I keep thinking that of the name Ishara from the Andorran royal line, who had to have offspring and have to have other people. And I'm wondering if her name was a part of the creation of the Sharans after the breaking of the world, or after Hawkling at least.
You make a really good point because they had steady, it says in the wiki that they had steady trade peacefully for 5 centuries, over 5 centuries.
Yeah.
In which the Aiel were more or less facilitating this by allowing them to travel through their lands. And yet, so the points of view that we mostly get are from 2 river folk, right? And I don't even know if they even know what Shara is. And I wonder if that is why it's so mysterious in our books, is because the point of view is mostly from people that don't even know. But Avienda points out, or Ruark points out, that there's like chaos and weirdness. They mentioned the Shiboya and stuff like that. But there's a shocking lack of regard for this entire country that's attached to their continent.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I actually think, it's interesting. Shara was responsible pretty much for the great wealth of Carrion for a long period of time. They were the only source of silk in the known world, at least the known Ranland world, and that came out of carrion for centuries. And that's why it was such a double knockout punch when you took away their income, all of the vast wealth that was coming along the silk path. You took that away with the cutting of the tree, but then you had to pay for a war that lasted for years and destroyed everything, burned everything. And we hear this, we see this in the books through countless chapters and books, how many carrion and nobles had gone poor or lost all their money or turned to soldiering or had turned to being maids, or we see that in a lot of different ways, or had poverty, were skinny, some of their clothes weren't looking as good as they used to. That war had an everlasting effect on the Aiel. And it makes me also wonder how much of effect it has also on Shara at the time, having really nobody to sell to other than the sea folk.
That's a good point.
That would have actually made the sea folk more wealthy at the time if that would have happened. Because at that point, then the only people that we know of that were doing any business with the sea folk, with the Sharans, were the sea folk, unless the Shanshan were somehow doing it, which I doubt.
According to the Wikipedia, the Seafolk maps have Shara extending approximately 2,000 miles from the Aiel Waste to the ocean, and for approximately 4,500 miles from the Mountains of Doom to the Sea of Storms. So we're looking about 4,500 miles north-south, 2,000 miles east-west. Yeah. So this is a sizable...
Is Shara Australia, Dan?
Well, no, it's connected though. It would be.
Yeah,
if it wasn't connected.
See the Aboriginal, parts of hints to that. I can see that. But I could also see India.
I think I'm struggling a little bit with the overall structure of not bringing Shara in until the very last moment. And it makes me wonder if the Shanshan hadn't have attacked, would Rand have even known they were around? What other peoples that weren't included in the last battle, just because they didn't attack, Rand didn't know, and they ended up dying or whatever?
Well, I think I haven't. Well, this goes into some of the weirder theories that I
Hey, Jansen, can you put those guns away? I'm scared.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow! Whoop it! Activated.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I was like, "Whoa! I gotta duck."
No, what I was thinking about this. I think there's a really, really, really good reason why the Sharans came in late. And I think it's because, in Robert Jordan's mind, secretly, this story wasn't done. And I have a lot of reasons for that.
Like, you thought, how many if he had his druthers, would this be like a 20-book series?
Well, no, it's this. And just to say, before I say anything else, everyone out there, this is, as always, a full-blown spoiler alert. Red. I'm going to be talking about something that pretty much right now is the end of the entire story. So, I believe that Bow the Will has just started walking the earth right
now. Okay.
I believe that's Rand.
Oh, whoa.
Just like he's like all the other names every other culture calls.
Well, no,
right?
Can you think of any other nation or anything that's in more turmoil right now at the end of the Memory of the Light than Shara? Or any other nation that would need deliverance from someone than Shara? And any other nation that had a false dragon / false willed that tried to take power. And here's one of the huge pieces of evidence I have for that. when Mogideon burned Bow the Willed, or Demon Dread, to ash and took his place. She used the true power because the Sharans would have been able to detect whether or not she would have been able to use Sidar or Saidin. And she asked him, did I not use the power? I didn't use anything. You didn't see any power used. And they're like, no, he didn't use any power. It must be the will. Only the will. And then she says, only I, the willed, could do this. The only person that would have a power like that is Rand. At the end.
So was he impersonate? I don't know what you're saying.
No, I believe that Rand himself is the Dragon Slayer. He already killed the body of Randall Thor. He took it away and took over another body. Now he cannot use. He has a power that no one can detect. He's the will. It never said that their prophecy had to be finished when this one was.
No, but there is prophecies for the will.
Yeah.
And so is Rand tied to these prophecies?
Well, what if none of them have been even fulfilled yet?
That's what I'm wondering. Does he have to go to Shara eventually?
I believe that eventually he will. That's why I don't like that Rand would, at the end of everything, Rand would just sit and relax. I don't think that anyone who knew anything of Ito or the philosophy of holding the mountain until you die would ever just sit back and watch the world go by.
All right, brother, Dan, come here. Okay. Didn't Jansen like a year ago say that he thought Rand was just gonna be hanging out in a cave raising his kids?
Nope, that wasn't me.
Who was that?
It wasn't me.
God damn it! All right,
was not me.
Maybe Beth.
No, it wasn't Beth either. I remember it was a guess.
Okay.
Well, okay.
You know who it was?
D. Simone?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was him.
Well, let me ask you. So we have heard, I don't know officially, but I think officially that we heard that the original plan was for Mazrim Taim to be Damodred.
Yep.
And that Robert Jordan decided to change that because the fans had already keened on to it, from what I've heard. And so he changed this. So what does that mean for the Sharan, that plot line? The fact that instead of being Mazrim Taim, he's now Bow the Willed.
Well,
was this always the plan? Was this always the plan to have a Forsaken there?
You mean if it would have happened with it being Mazrim Taim?
Well, let's say that let's say that Damodred was always Mazrim Taim, and that wasn't changed. What would the Sharan still be under a corrupting influence in the story? Do you think? Because I think so. They're not going to come in like the Heroes of the Horn and save things. They're going to come in and be adversaries. But what do you think? Ryan, you too.
I think that, I do. I think the Sharans. So, what was the significance of even the Sharans being in the entire story? Like, what were any significance?
None.
Just tension.
None until the last half of the last book, when they first come and attack Egwin's camp. And Bow is saying, bring me loose there, and I'm going to beat his butt. I'm going to punch him in the nose. Him doing that shit. There was no Shara, essentially.
I want to say that the Sharans are a more Brandon Sanderson invention, but they're not. Because we know how much Grendel used them to taunt Samael, and that was all Robert Jordan.
Oh, that's a. So I got to. So Damage Red basically in a clandestine secret agent move, like basically compulsed the entire nation.
No, I think he fulfilled their prophecies. And I think that, in a lot of ways, the Sharans were a lot like the Shanshan in their devotion and in their, which brings a really, 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 really big, that it brings to mind, did the Sharans have a Terangriel like the Shanshan
The
did?
Crystal Throne, yeah, like the Crystal Throne. Yeah, I mean, it feels like, yeah, we could talk about Shan and then we can talk about the Crystal Throne. We don't know
I mean,
if
but
there's
with the Wild, if someone is walking on water and says they're Jesus, I'm going to buy it. I mean, this is so. I don't blame Sharans at all for buying that this magical man who apparently was wielding a power that couldn't be detected by male or female channelers was indeed the Wild. That sounds reasonable to me. What doesn't sound reasonable is the fact that the rest of the world completely forgot about these people when there is the ultimate battle of life and death, existence versus non-existence, these things going on, and we have an entire continent of a lot of channelers, a lot of like the and we'll get into the Aiel being a part of them, but I don't think that they're a part of Sharans at all. I think they're just the Dark Ones. No, let's jump into that. Fuck. So we have the sharp tooth Aiel, the red veils fighting with the Sharans. Do these Aiel actually go to Shara? Like on when they're off to? That's really good, Ryan. I wish they had the tongue like Rocky Horror, but I like it.
or like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. But we're talking, it's over 2,000 miles from the edge of the waste to get into like Shara. Like these Aiel aren't going to Shara, right? No, they're being captured and then they're told to fight over for them. I think. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it wasn't like Damager was like single-handedly just like waiting for them to wander the desert and picking them up like at the loot in a video game. Like he had to be like, there had to be like a system in place, right, to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not in Shara, that's in Shara Ghul.
You just made me think of something that might be even a weirder theory, but makes a little bit of sense to me.
Okay.
So after the breaking of the world, or during the War of Power, right before the breaking of the world, there were all kinds of like cities and nations all over the world at the time. And some of them were not run by good people. They were run by Forsaken. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were run by Forsaken. And at the right when the breaking of the world started, some of those nations probably weren't liberated. What if two of those nations during the breaking of the world, right at the War of Power, right when it started, everything just shit started to hit the fan, broke off during the breaking of the world? And what if they kept going? Not necessarily as evil, but they kept going from a foundation of being ran by the Forsaken. What if two of those nations survived? And what if two of the people that had ran those nations before had been Demon Dread and Samarhag? And what if those two nations, one of them just the armies of the night, one of them became the armies of the night, then they became the Shanshan, and Samarhag went when she woke up and went back and found some of the things that she had done and took over that nation? What if Demon Dread went to Shara and found that he was the one that had started that nation?
Now, that's interesting. Well, we know that Shara did exist before. Well, we don't know before the Age of Legends, but there were countries there. They broke apart, but they were united and have remained united from the War of Artar Hawkwing on.
Yes, and there was even one of, at least we know for sure, was there even before him.
Mm-hmm.
We know at least one city, Farmatting, was there in the Age of Legend. We know that the guy that ran its name was Gilgame. We know that Lews Therin talked to him, and we know that they didn't agree with each other, and that Lews Therin, as Ran, later on the way into the Guardian, told Min that he should have listened to him. Maybe things would have been different.
Ryan, Gilgame.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hey, call me Gil. But there is an island off of the coast of Shara that nothing is known about. They don't know if it's populated. The amount of ignorance in this land we should probably acknowledge, because things got really fucked up with the breaking, and people are still trying to figure out where the hell things were, I think.
Which is bullshit, because the sea folk know, but they just like won't fucking tell anybody. They're all weirded out.
Yeah.
And there are also places that they won't even go.
Right.
You know,
right.
They won't go.
There's an Isle of Madmen. What is the Isle of Madmen? Right.
Yeah.
Australia.
That's Australia. But still, like, Rand didn't reach out to any of these. The Aes Sedai did not have a presence in any of these. If we're talking about like a war for global salvation, it's not really a global war. It's as big as they could get. But gosh, suddenly the Sharan show up and they're like, what the fuck? You should be on our side. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. And this is through negligence to a certain degree, right?
Well, I think that in the way that the book was written, in the way that the Dragon's Peace was written, in the way that they left everything, that they could not have everything that they wanted without the Sharans somehow, someday coming into an agreement of some kind of peace with everyone else as well. Because it's like the Sharan marches, unless in Avienda's POV, when she went into the arches for the last time and saw the future, that future is going to change somehow and be the Sharans instead of the Aiel.
It's interesting that the Sharans were not in her visions at all, right?
They weren't.
Was that neglect?
Well, that's a Brandon Sanderson thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
No, but also like it goes to what you're saying. The Sharans are like in shambles.
They are in shambles, but they are extremely, extremely powerful still. Mm-hmm. They still have. I mean, they still have all of their. They have the same power structure they had before Demon Dread was there. You know, they still have all those same people in charge and all of those. You know, the weird way that they have.
Let me get a little bit more metaphysical if I can. Why? Because we know that Damodred fulfilled certain, I'll say prophecies. They may be expectations, but I'll say prophecies about the Wild.
Well, we know that he fulfilled something that sounded like he did.
But you're still making my point. The fact that there are prophecies in a different country that's still attached to the continent, divided by a waste, are we to say, because most of the prophecies about the dragon that we see in Ranland are correct. He is fulfilling these things, whether he wants to or not, these things happen. Can we attach the same reliability to Sharan prophecies?
Yes.
We'll fight. No, Damodred he corrupted the Shan prophecies, correct?
Demon Dread.
Wasn't it Damod? No, the Shan.
It was a Shamael, right?
Was that a Shamael?
Okay.
Either way, like I'm quite clear that like the Shan like whole like prophecy system was like corrupted by Forsaken, leading them down a very subtle but different path. I believe that just like Glenn, like the Sharan prophecies are just like probably Damage Red fucking inventions. And then he like got the costume.
Because I definitely agree. I believe that not Demon Dread, Ishmael created Sean Chen. He even said it. He said, I sent Arthur Hawkwing's children out of the Earth Ocean to seal two dooms. He said it. That's what he said to Rand.
Yeah, so, 1492, Arthur Hawking sailed the ocean blue.
Definitely. But the reason why I think the prophecies, even though he might have started it corrupted, and it might have even been corrupted through the ages, but there's one thing that he could not stop, and that's foretelling. There have been a lot of like people on the channel that had the foretelling, and they did a lot of writings through all the time, and we get a lot of these through the prologues. You know, the entries before all of the books. We hear about the writings from people that we have never heard of before, who lived in certain times, and wrote some of those things down. And we know that a lot of those people could channel. People didn't stop. You know, in fact, back then people were foretelling more. You know.
Yeah, you couldn't stop them. They were foretelling in public. They were foretelling in front of children.
Yeah, they had
it was
to make
a crazy
laws.
time.
Yeah,
it was a crazy
but
time.
you're making me think of stuff now. So Jansen, we have the we have the Koramor, we have the Karakarn, we have the dragon, we have the Willed.
Yes.
And they all have their own prophecies and their own things, but there have been false dragons, and you mentioned Demon Dread being a false Willed,
yes,
which I like that. Those connections never really triggered with me, I guess.
That's because dragon and Willed, it doesn't matter what country you're in, it's still the same entity, the savior, the whoever, you know, the Messiah, the God, the whoever, it's still the same person.
So and then you have to have prophecies for this.
Well, yeah, maybe. But
wait. There's this female, like, who is that weirdo who's just like clinging to like Damage Red and like seems like he's like, oh my god, she has genuine affection for me, right? Bullshit like that. Like, but that woman was just like, you're gonna like win and recreate the world in your image or something crazy, and she's like,
well, she loved him, so
yeah, but like it seemed like he was clearly been like, whoa, I'm gonna take over the world and do this. Like, that's not dragon shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, nothing about what the dragon is supposed to be doing was what that woman was saying, which I can't remember what she said, but something to that effect.
Oh, I agree with you. I don't think so.
But let's say, so Rand was very close to destroying the Shanshan army. He would have pretty much done the same thing that Bao did, going into their camp and blowing things up. Bring me your leader. I'm going. Yeah. He would have done the same thing if he didn't rethink.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so I feel like there's two things that are possible in my mind. One is that there's something about the Sharan that make them susceptible. Perhaps their isolation. Perhaps the fact that they fucking tattoo babies' faces and shit. Like, what's wrong with them? Like so maybe they're just something like culturally wrong, which is kind of hard to say. But then, or Damage Ray just went in and fucking compulsed the shit out of him.
No, I'm telling you, in Bao the Willed's prophecy, he uses a power that's not Sidar or Sidene.
That's, I mean,
all Demon Dread had to do was walk in there, tell them who he was, tell them the prophecies he's done.
Yeah, that's what I think about that.
And use the true power.
No, that makes perfect sense. And again, if someone comes in walking on water and saying they're Jesus, I'm buying it. I mean,
how much are you spending on that though? That's the question, dude.
I'm buying. No, I'll give away my dog. I don't like my dog.
I mean, we know that the Sharans could detect Sidar and Sidene because of what they did to their channelers. We know that they could detect that. So if Demon Dread walks in using this power and they can't sense anything like that on him at all, not knowing any of that, I mean, that's the essence of a magician.
Do we know if Sharan's had access to any sort of terangrial? The Shanshin certainly developed their own. They have the Adam, they have the Blood Knives, they have the Crystal Throne, and etc. What do the Sharans have?
Well, Demon Dread pulled out Sakarnin.
Well, okay, yeah, he found that, but they didn't. They're not making that. I mean, I guess like the Adams or the Blood Rings, those are created.
I think that was made at the same time as Boris Sangreal. I don't think so.
Do we have any evidence of Sharan's making anything?
Well, I don't know. I mean, let me think. Did we hear about them having any kind of item?
I hear they make amazing hand drums.
They make really good handmade tortillas.
That was a lot like the Japanese string instrument. I forgot what it's called. The lyre.
That's not Japanese.
And I know that they were playing it for Grendel when Samael came to meet her. They were playing it together. I don't know. I can't think of them having anything that I could remember.
So let's what their channelers were there. Hold on, Ryan. Okay. Were there channelers? Were they only the Aiel? They had female channelers. What did they have male channelers?
Well, yeah, they kept them herded like animals. Remember that they didn't learn or anything. They were just breeding stock.
Okay, but they weren't in the battle.
Well, they ended up being in the battle, and they ended at the end, and they were still like rabid. You know, almost like warders who just died when killed, just thrown into the battle like to kill whoever they could.
I picture Sharan's like living. They eat a lot of grubs. I think they like play like water drums in the river. I think that they're like almost like pygmies.
I think that that's an interesting way to look at. I think they're very, very cautious people. And and then there's that one thing that really stands out when we heard through Egwene's point of view about them when she was behind enemy lines. So they had this tattoo system, and the less tattoos you had, the more powerful you were. The more tattoos you had means you were way, way down on the social pecking order.
That's an interesting reverse system as well.
Yes, because you can't go up; you can only go down.
Like a reverse guy. But we also saw like one just kind of happen in real time, like "Shlabamo," like tattoo on your face.
Tattoo on your face.
So here's so obviously it's like what's cool. Yeah, it's cool. The Sharan like the world gets fleshed out. These things are referenced before. We finally get to actually interact with them. To whether or not we found it edifying or not is another question. But like I do the aspect of the Sharan and what we get revealed in the end that I think is really interesting is like, and it goes along with Robert Jordan's kind of themes of like cultural toe or like decisions that haven't made and then like affect entire groups of people in ways that like are not always clear until later. And so like the Aiel, fuck, I didn't even realize they're selling fucking Carian as slaves. That's fucking crazy. That makes me really rethink shit. And why are we all like fucking loving these like chattel slavers? But
no, the Aiel were not good.
Yeah. No, that's fucked up. But also like, the Aiel were sending their male channelers off, and then it's discovered that somehow they're getting herded up, shaved down, and like sent back to herd them. And I think it was Amis was like, "Oh fuck, we have toe."
Yeah, I mean, there's a world where all the Aiel at the end of the Memory of the Light go back to the waste to redo it all again because they have to. And there's so many reasons why.
Well, there was some cat that Amanda remembers running off to go blindside. Like she was like, yeah, I remember like the little party we had and sent his ass off to go die. And she was like, God damn it. God damn it. Oh, this hurts. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, like I think the wise ones have more toe than anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right. They just held this secret. Like they're so like Illuminati with that shit.
Well, no, not but only like that, eavesdrop on whoever they want.
Yeah, they have a very like their morals are
their idea of toe
and are
you can spy
indignant to anybody else doing it.
But it's fun. I was gonna say it's fun. It's like interesting to look at all the different cultures and like cities and like families and stuff, like, and you can see like they all have like, you know, the cutting down of the Vendosor tree was like one thing. I believe like how the Aes Sedai structured Tar-Valon ended up being their like one of their downfalls in a way, because it's so it's just brutal and petty and allows for just so many different like crazy, like, you know, it's like it wasn't a good system. So yeah, it's just fun to think about that, because like the Aiel fucked up and then they are like literally battling their own and dying from that. And I think that's the only thing for me that's interesting at all about Shara at all. It's just like it continues this theme, which is a powerful theme of like, you know, good intentions, you know, can, you know, lead to bad results, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Was Shara included because Robert Jordan had put him in, and this was something that Brandon Sanderson kind of had to deal with?
Well, I think that the Sean Shan needed a counter. You know, they needed a counter other than just Shadow Spawn and Murderall. It's not like a Marvel movie where we're like, hey, we got to kill a lot of people, but we got to make it creatures so the parents get mad. You know, it was like, you know, they had to start to have, when you have faces and people to writing, it makes it stronger. Just killing monsters doesn't make it good reading.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Not when you're having a war like that.
We just don't have enough backstory for me to feel really invested in Shara at all. Like we don't know any. Do we know any character name besides Bao?
There's like weird basic people.
There are basics that like
no one important.
There's that one channeler who like becomes an odd Saldom and is like, it takes to it like a fish to water. That's the only. Go ahead.
I think we get 5 names. We get.
Oh, here they go.
Bao the Willed girlfriend. We get.
That's not a name.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think of the people.
She's fucked the
There's
will.
also the old man that he took a liking to that then Grendel burns to ash. There's also the 2 that Grendel took. And she said their names. And then there's Bao himself.
Okay.
One thing. So Dan, like one thing I just realized is, I hadn't thought about this until now. The problem of Matt, you know, like that has to culminate in something, and it was beautiful in that he had to go against general damage red, right? And Dameter's POVs, he kept saying like, "Oh, this has to be loose there," and no one knows tactics. You'd have to be like 1,000-year-old like veteran to do what is happening. Blah 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 blah, and that just ends up just fucking being Matt. But if Matt was leading the armies and it was just hordes of Trollocs and the Murdraw and then whatever they throw out, bloodhounds, whatever, then the strategy aspect is not there. It had to be mind for mind. It had to be Matt.
It had to be that.
Wiz.
But
Yeah.
that being said, if it was just Demon Dread versus Matt with the exact same resources, Matt would have destroyed him within 5 minutes. Demon Dread had an advantage of cheating and of a bunch of other shit. But if they would have had an equal advantage, Matt would have destroyed him so quickly he wouldn't have known what to do.
Well, all right. So you're saying that Matt also would destroy land then, pretty easily.
I'm talking about from the standpoint of being a general.
Oh yeah. Fuck
Matt
yeah.
was,
I'm just saying hand to hand.
you know, hand to hand.
No.
Probably strike land at the same time, and they'd somehow knock each other out because of Matt's luck.
It'd be like boing.
But
because land beat Damodred.
But I'll tell you this:
But
Yeah, Rock
Damodred would
beats
beat
Sid.
Matt.
if
Yeah.
Matt
Rock
had been
beats scissors.
fighting land would not be able to kill Matt. Is what.
It's a technical. It's a. He just won't play the
Power,
game.
his power is the ultimate plot armor that there could possibly be.
Is there anything else about Shara that we wanted to touch on? Because I did want to bring up something about the show. We did get a little bit more information that I wanted to end with, but let's keep talking about Shara until we squeeze this lemon dry.
Shara. You know, so that being said, we get a lot from we know it's funny, we know that there is a book in Randland that has a whole lot of information about the Sharans, and we haven't read it yet. And that's called The Travels of Jane Farstrider.
Yep.
So, you know, that's how we get snippets. We got a few pieces from Tom Maryland when they set sail on from the tier with the sea folk. And they were talking about silk and stuff. We got a little bit. Because we actually, and that's the other thing, we also got this. Here's something else we got. So, and that's another parallel from Shara and Shanchin. So we know that in Shara, they, you know, can grow silk. But we also know that in Shanchin, they can do it too. You know, we know that they can grow silk there as well. We even had two merchants talking about it. And I forgot, was that Crown of Swords, I think? Or, yeah. I think it was
Oh, as we all know.
As we all
know, there is that one scene with the two merchants.
So this makes me think. So in the wiki it reads that sometimes the sea folk would take the Sharan goods and claim it as their own because they were good. They were good porcelain. They were as fine as theirs and stuff, and also silk stuff. But there's not really any like so. Shara, I would think, is the Sahara. The way it is kind of culturally divided by this big desert, right? And but we don't have any, like, as we have African goods and like distinct African wear and stuff. We don't have that in Randland about Sharan anything.
No,
there was
no.
Were the sea folk just cribbing everything and saying, I made this, or don't worry about it.
Well,
or
I think that the only thing that people were getting from Shara was silk. I think,
which is quite valuable, right? Yeah.
And I think the only reason that anyone would even go that far to get those goods, because it was a one of a kind thing, and every noble everywhere wanted to wear it.
That Sharan shake, Ryan. Ooh.
Yeah. No, but also like we can't forget how the tariffs that were put on Sharan silk
Yeah, it really
and
did
the
destroy the
effect. Yeah.
economy. All right, so
No,
let me. Oh,
Dan,
go ahead.
I wanted to piggyback on your point before you move on.
Okay.
If we put it all together, like what Jansen was saying is like Karyan had a direct line to Sharan up until 20 years ago or 22 at the end of the book, like right, like, and then
Right.
all bets are off, right? And then you're just like they're picking them up and selling them as animals, like. So you would think that there would be more actual like artifices of Sharon or relics or anything about, because it's like it's not that long. It's not like ages ago that this trade ended. It was 20
It
fucking years
was yeah,
ago.
two.
Well,
It
I
was
don't
a
think that
generation
the
ago.
Sharans. I don't think the Sharans would even have. I bet you they had laws. They wouldn't let anything Sharan made leave their city except silk. They didn't want anyone to know anything about their. They were definitely
Okay.
phobic. And they only, yeah, I think they only traded for silk. I think the only reason, and we even, so I remember in one of the books they were talking about when they brought people in for trading. They were in this one huge place, this huge bay that had walls you couldn't see behind, and anybody who went past them was never seen again.
Mm,
So I think,
not,
and Rourke told Moran that they were extremely untrustworthy. You had to check all of what you were buying, or they would scam you. And then the next time when you found them, they would claim that it wasn't them. And then if you kept protesting, his colleagues would kill them and then try to sell you water as wine. So they're
yeah,
very,
but
very.
Rand says that about Terran fairy folk.
I'm about to
Yeah.
say that sounds like Terran Fair.
So you got to count your fingers after you shake a hand.
That's true.
Let me. Uh, I had a Sharon question and I forgot it.
Dan, is there a modern day equivalent to Terran Fairy that you would want to publicly talk about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called
there.
Westland, Michigan. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let me jump to this, and if we have more Sharon stuff, we'll cycle back. But we were talking about last week how we heard that all the rights to the intellectual property had been reverted back to IWAT Productions, the company that Harry and McDougall had sold the rights to originally.
But
so we had reported this. This was reported by many people, including Jennifer Liang, who is the co-founder of Jordan Con and is big part of this community. Our friends, we've had them on before, Road to Tarvalon, posted a video in which IWAT Productions sent them a response, and it said, quote, "While in the past we have never directly responded to inaccurate public information, we've seen posts online claiming Amazon and Sony have relinquished the Wheel of Time TV rights or that IWAT Productions have decided against continuing the show. These reports are simply false. Sony currently retains full control of the rights. We all fought hard to bring the show back for season 4, but Sony's decision stands. It's painful, and we're as heartbroken as our fans and the cast of the show over the outcome. However, while a direct continuation of this series is not possible, our commitment to the Wheel of Time endures. We're actively developing new projects, including the Age of Legends feature film, a significant gaming initiative, and more we'll share soon." End quote. Jansen, what is this shitstorm that is going on? Who the hell?
You know what sucks about all this now? And this is one of the things I'll never understand. This might be the most political thing I'll ever say. The very idea of voting against fact checking is utterly ridiculous. But
Right?
that being said, if what you just said is true, that's great news. And I'll tell you why. That's great news because they wrote a contract to Harriet McDougal telling her that she would get paid from that means that they are on the hook. And that means if they are deciding to keep it and not relinquish anything, that means that they definitely do have ideas. They do have things for this to move forward. And that's, for me, that's always going to be great. And like I said, if what you said is true, they're really doing that right now. And another thing is, if what you said is true, about 10 minutes from this moment, I'm going to be on the phone with my agent. I swear to God, I'm not kidding at all.
Well,
all right, here we go. Dan, this is interesting. LBF. I don't know if this is pillow talk or.
Yeah, was she talking
if they have if are they just like talking on LinkedIn? But I learned from Sarah Nakamura the other day that Universal held the rights for 7 years prior to Sony. So why would it been
about 5 or 6 years already?
So they had 7 years prior. Like, what are they doing? Just sitting on these rights and doing nothing with it? If that's true.
And I guess these are just the TV rights. I don't know. I don't know because it sounds like iWatch is still going through with the movie thing. It is still going through with the video game thing. It sounds like these are just the TV production rights, and they're like, we don't have them. It's still Sony has them. Sony's like, we gave them away. Or I don't know if Sony said that, but someone said Sony said it. So the whole thing is baffling, and I don't know why there's even any confusion. Why is this so obscure?
It says at least how the format of the video game is most probably going to be.
What do you mean? And PS5 or whatever?
With the video game that they're going to work on for this?
Will be Sega exclusive.
That it's going to take place in the Age of Legends.
No, they said it's going to... No, this is crazy, bro. They said, and this is why, seriously, just this is the Homer Simpson just fucking backing up. It's like they come out and said they're going to create an open world MMORPG, whatever, and it's like going to include the entire series. They said is going to be in this fucking game, and they said it's going to be out in 2 years, which is just fucking balls. Like,
I don't believe that.
If that well, that's what they said. Like, and this is like public record. Like, this is the iWatch Studio fucking whatever Landman Dragarin said.
What do we get first, Ryan? What are we getting first? The next Game of Thrones book or the Wheel of Time video game?
Well, on their timeline, the video game.
Apparently, yeah.
But I don't think they'll do 2 years. If it's 2 years, it'd be the shittiest piece of fucking shit you've ever played in your life. So
they've been working on Grand Theft Auto 6 for almost 15 years.
Over a decade.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna buy that shit day one. Like, I was just driving home the other day and just thinking about how excited I am to play that game.
Did you ever see the movie True Romance?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is pretty much what they've done to this game. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, sweet.
It's going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be very good.
Is there a monkey in True Romance?
Do you know there's still people... Okay, so there's this whole world of people who just get on Grand Theft Auto Online and just, like, live. They go to work.
Yeah, they follow all the rules.
Yeah.
They stop at every,
I've heard about this.
They role play, yeah, and they cops will pull them over if they speed, or if they cross the line without using their blinker and stuff.
I'm reading about one guy who has a cab job on it. Weird.
Ryan and I used to watch the GTA Pacifist, who went into everything to do no harm, to cause no litter. Everything about him was to be as pacifist and zen about the whole thing. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
A lot.
He died a lot.
Where's Gold Vision? I miss that guy.
Gold Vision. Yeah. I guess this is it. Is there anything else, guys?
Oh no, you guys have
Iowa.
a fantastic day. iWatt Productions. Yes, I am on the horn on that in about 7 minutes.
Jansen, any news that you want to share with anyone?
Let's see, any news? Not anything big right now. Been working a lot in my other job. It's party season. So been dealing with a lot of bartenders and a lot of parties and a lot of booze and things like that.
You mean
Tis
booze
the
like
season.
this?
Booze. What? That's so funny, Ryan. And this is pretty much gonna ramp up until after Christmas, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All ramping up. But it'd be nice if I had some really good conversations with some people at iWatt Productions and got something else.
Yeah.
That'd be so we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I think you should shoot higher than Andrew. Like, okay, if it's not Andrew, like, who do you want to be?
I at this point I just would like to be part of it. But there's so many people and characters in something that has to go to make something like this. Being in it, the character I would be isn't really my worry. I would just want to get it.
Yeah.
I know, but fuck that. So, like, here's a good. So, like, the question I have is like, so if you like were like offered a character, like, who's the character that you relate to the most, like in your soul, like you like felt like you're that character while you're reading
And thought that you were the best representation of.
No, that's a different question.
Yeah, I was about to say that's because that's.
I mean, so you'd have him play Matt? He's too old.
My question is like, yeah, like
anyone in the entire book
Okay.
series that's life paralleled mine in the most ways would definitely be Matt. It would definitely be Matt.
Yeah, so everyone knows that's how Jansen lost a finger from pinching bottoms
Oh yeah.
at truck stops.
Pinching bosoms?
Yeah, he was on the Route 66 at a truck stop, pinched the wrong bottom. No, but yeah, Jansen. So like, would it be harder, like, for you to play a character that you grew up like loving that, or would it be? Right, like what, or would it be harder to like play? You know what I'm saying? Like, would your familiarity with the character almost somehow be a hindrance? Because
No.
it's like you know how you feel, but you got
No, we always talk about how if something we saw that we didn't like, and we're like, they obviously did not read the books. I think that playing any character in the entire series would help for me because I have read the book. For so many different reasons. But yeah, I would I'd play anybody. It would be so much fun because I don't think that it would be a hindrance for one huge thing. I've never played them before.
Okay.
I would cast you as a great captain.
I've never sat there and thought about playing them. I've never thought about what I would do if I was in those situations.
I always thought the best acting was like when you're in that, like when I'm watching the best acting, I feel like there's this essence of being and not acting. And I imagine that maybe like if you know the character and you've grown up like and that storyline becomes your storyline, and how like as we live and grow, our favorite characters kind of like help us grow and evolve as well. Like
I think
so that
anything, as long it's all about being honest. You have to behave honestly in whatever imaginary situation you're in. So it has to be an honest performance. It can't be something that's
Well, this reminds me of Christopher Lee on the set of the Lord of the Rings, telling Peter Jackson No, when someone gets stabbed in the back, he makes a sound like, oh. And it was describing, because Christopher Lee was a badass in World War II and killed bunches of dudes. And he's like, so yeah, when someone gets stabbed, they don't go, oh, they go, oh. And he said, oh, yeah, okay, let's do that then, I guess. Because he had that experience of what a man sounds like.
Yeah, because if you puncture a lung, there's not much going on.
Yeah.
Those are your bags right there. You gotta.
I would even tell if anyone who ever wanted to work in any part of like the film, television, or movie industry, I would have them watch a full day of a stunt crew on the show work. Because it is nothing what you would think it was, and you learn so much about everything if you were there to see it. And there's just so many things.
That sounds cool.
It is very cool. But they have, and that's the thing, during almost every single show, they have like teams doing cells and teams doing other things during those shows, in the show at different times, like while there's an entire crew of lighting people working, while there's an entire crew of carpentry workers building, while there's there's these guys doing that, so, and then there's the stunt coordinators doing all that in the midst of all of it. So it's crazy, but I love it so much. But yeah, I wish people could see the background of it all.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna bid
you guys adieu and wish you all out there a wonderful, wonderful week. And next week, I've got some more surprise.
Let's go.
Yes. Is it like one of those the mimic chests in Elden Ring where that just bites your face, or is it going to be gold?
I'm talking about my new theories on the Book of Translation.
Oh,
the Book of
Translation. I'm down with that.
Oh, I thought you said Book of Transition. Sounds awesome. All right, hey, this is what we do, and we'll continue doing it ad infinitum. This has been The Way of the Leaf Productions. Everyone, run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.
Bye.